Hello and welcome to an edition of Stewards Review. I'm Maggie Wolfendale, pleased to be joined by NYRA Stewart, Victor Escobar. And Victor, we'll take a look back at two races that found their way to the Stewards booth. And we'll actually start with a race where we had a horse by the name Bernie Goes Boom declared a non-starter. I'm going to first let you talk about the rule that applies to adjudicating non-starters.
Thank you, Maggie. Yes. So in the state of New York, we have a very specific rule when it comes to the adjudication process of non-starters. And I wanted to go over this rule with everyone today because you may have found yourself playing in different jurisdictions. Each jurisdiction has its own unique set of rules. And you may have run into a similar situation where it was adjudicated in a different manner. But here's the rule as it reads. Every horse shall be considered a starter when the stall gates open on the signal of the starter unless the stewards declare a horse or horses non-starters because in their opinion the horse's chances were compromised leaving the starting gate. If so, all bets on the non-starters will be refunded unless the horse wins, and that's the key in this one because this horse ultimately did come back, prevail, and still managed to finish in the placings. So we'll take a look at the incident now.
A little bit of a heartbreaker, I'm sure, for those who played Bernie Goes Boom. And I remember doing the show from this very spot and our producer saying the starter was in front of the 6 here, Bernie Goes Boom. And I said, wait, really? So we immediately rolled that replay back and you could see the starter's leg in front of him.
Yes, absolutely. So as you can see on the video, Bernie Goes Boom is being adjusted by the assistant starter. At that time, the starter did start the field with that starter in front. Bernie Goes Boom loses out several strides out of the gate as a result of that, so certainly his chances were compromised. He come back and run second, but because he didn't win the race, we would call him a non-starter for wagering purposes.
And outside of wagering purposes, is the horse still declared a non-starter even if they do win?
So he's declared a non-starter for wagering purposes only. So that's another important highlight for purse money.
Okay.
The connections still keep the purse money because that's outside of their control. But we want to take care of our wagering public. Absolutely.
This is great information. Thank you. I've always wondered a lot about those non-starter decisions up there. But next, we'll go to a race back on December 13th between Principe d'Oro and Frizzante. It got tight down the stretch. We're going to see a steady drift from the Principe d'Oro in that red cap.
Yeah, so we had a stewart's inquiry as well as a jockey's objection in this race, looking at Principe d'Oro in the red cap here, Frizzante to the outside in the till cap. Frizzante is making a late run here, late stretch. Principe d'Oro, he's going to veer out and make contact with Frizzante. So a couple things we want to look at here. First, we have to determine, did a foul occur, which in this situation it certainly did. The next thing we have to determine and be confident with is, did the incident cost the sufferer the opportunity at a better placing? So this is where it complicates this a little bit, because as we're looking down here, as they're approaching the line, we're looking at the proximity of where the foul occurred to the finish of the race. Right here, they're approaching the line. They've come together just before the finish line. And though it was a slim margin, ultimately, after interviewing the riders involved and weighing the visual evidence, we were ultimately satisfied that due to the proximity of the line, though there was a foul that did occur, it didn't affect the final outcome. Both horses had achieved maximum placing by the time the foul occurred. As a result, we dismissed the inquiry and objection with no change.
I have a question for you.
Absolutely.
When horses are drifting, like we saw with Principe d'Oro, what is the margin? What are the lengths, around about that a horse can be clear to drift? And when is that margin, interfering with the horse that's trying to rally behind them?
Absolutely. So in the state of New York, we have a definition of that a horse is entitled to any part of the racetrack so long as the way is clear. However, there is not necessarily a clear definition as to what is clear. So what we want to see is that no horse is impeded, interfered with, or intimidated or jostled. So those are the terms that we have to work with when making those decisions.
God, well, great information as always, Victor. Thank you so much. And if you want to learn a little bit more about the Stewards Review and the decisions made in the booth, you can check out, of course, NYRA.com for more information. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, Maggie.